Is psychology and non-duality related somehow? Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I mean, because so if what there is not divided into two different things, meaning there's no lack, then a lot of the psychological troubles that people have are basically unfounded, ultimately. But what we understand colloquially by the word psychology is also very different from the discipline of psychology, the scientific, the way it's defined, the way it's viewed, the way it's talked about. Could say something similar for non-duality. What it really is and the way it gets talked about are different in most cases, I would say. So is therapy in psychological sense useful, or is it only strengthening the ego? Hmm. No, it doesn't necessarily only strengthen the ego, but it also can. It totally depends on the diagnosis. It totally depends on the therapist. Probably most of it depends on the therapist. And of course, also on the openness or otherwise of the person who's going for therapy. If the therapist has real sensitivity and if the person going for therapy has some openness, then of course it's going to be valuable. Yeah, I mean, I guess it can help people work through certain things, feel some relief about certain things. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't say that therapy as a whole is not valuable, but again, I don't know the world of therapy, but I would kind of presume that most of it is ego strengthening. There's a lot of pride, like a therapist. Therapists take a lot of pride in their, like so many professionals in their education, in their standing, and all these things. Yeah, going to someone like that is just uh, to be sent in the wrong direction, really. Hi, Jennifer. I would like to know how to see if our anger is a natural emotion or it's something ego generated. Anger is always a natural emotion. What the ego might then do is claim the anger, is take the anger and turn it into like an enduring emotion. Anger is a natural reaction that comes up when something doesn't feel right, when something feels unfair. Yeah, for example. Um, and then if we get stuck on the anger, if we get attached to it because we think now we have to like keep the anger, otherwise the situation will never be resolved. Or then we like mentally condemn someone else. Yeah. Or turn it into hate or then it's the ego took it and hijacked it. How can it be avoided? Ego hijacking. Yeah, that's the thing. Um, there isn't one. There is no technique or anything. It's just a matter of seeing it. You sense it. The more you're sensitive to it, the more you'll notice it. You notice it if, like, anger. If it lasts beyond a certain amount of time, and we're kind of so preoccupied with it, and we if it's basically thought, if we go into so much thought about it, anger is an emotion, right? If we then start to think about it, oh, I'm going to show this person, um wait till I this, then so much inner dialogue about all the things I'm going to say and all that, that's the hijacking. So you just notice it, don't have to avoid it. You see it, and then eventually you notice that you're just kind of throwing your energy out the window doing that, and then you'll stop it, most probably, because you want to. It's kind of like a little bit of determination, like putting your foot down. Like if someone wants to stop smoking, have to certain have to have a certain intention or determination. No, they're not really natural mind dialogues. I mean, yeah, they can be, but no, you know what I mean. Like it's just a feeling of, uh, if there's so much spite and so much, yeah, it's just like taking the anger and riding on it. Uh, yeah, no, of course that's not natural. If you start thinking like, oh, I'm gonna pay this person back. This is all these things I'm gonna say, and no, why would that be natural? It's the same if we were, like taking natural sadness, and then the mind would go, oh, I'm never going to be happy, and all these conclusions which are completely baseless, like, oh, poor me, why this, why that, and so many painting so many pictures, negative pictures, that would be taking the sadness and taking it for a ride. How can we deal with people who interfere a lot? We talked about it before. It, uh, by being firm, not accepting it. It's really all about what we're willing to accept and what we're not willing to accept. That's it. That's really what defines ego in our life, the amount of ego in our life. The possibility of living without ego. It's really that. If it's reflected in the outer world, like whatever leaders we elect is a reflection, direct reflection of what the people are willing or not willing to accept. Yeah, that's it. As to the how, like, again, it's like with everything else, there's no strategy, there's no path, there's no tactic. It's just, then it becomes case by case basis. You were talking about living life to the fullest or something like that. What does it mean in your case? I mean, as an example of such a life. By that, I just mean to do what you're good at, to do what you love. Yeah, if you have an incredible talent for painting, but you're working in an office somewhere, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a hobby, but yeah, no one can live off from art, and so I have to stay in this job which I really hate. That would be not living life to the fullest. So it's just doing what we enjoying life to the fullest. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah. And if you don't know, you don't know. There's nothing wrong with, like, doing, it's the classic thing, no? Someone starts to find a job, and then it's just like jobbing around wherever, don't know what I really want to do in life, so I'm just gonna, I don't know, do some job, or then maybe save up some money, maybe go traveling, or maybe whatever. Eventually you'll find it. But whatever talents we have, abilities we have, whatever we want to express, and living life to the fullest, honestly, is just enjoying. That's what we're here for. What else are we here for? Like, tell me something better than that. To sacrifice ourselves for the good of the whole? That's what the ego would want you to believe, and that's what the collective ego would want you to do, ultimately. Can we enjoy a whole life, practically speaking? Yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah. Why not? That's what we would do if there wasn't uh, this claiming among humans. Yeah. So inevitably, there's going to be uh, what seem like disruptions, maybe. I don't know. But yes, of course, that's what we're meant to. It's not that we can't. There's no question that we can't. Hey, Michael, can unconscious beliefs, say from childhood, hold us back from full life? No, no. They can try and intimidate us because we've held on to them so much. Because we've decided that, oh, I've had such a traumatic life, and we are so attached to that, or so fearful about it, or something. Yeah, we can, if we get attached to the things, then they can hold us back. If we make self images out of them, yeah, like of self pity, or the opposite, or the one who has suffered so much, or all these subtly flattering things. So actually, it's not the conditioning that stops us from being free, from living a full life. It's our response to it. It's our embracing of it, believing in it, making it our identity, encouraging it, passing it on to others. What about sociopaths? I mean, it's hard to accept some things. It's hard to accept a lot of things. We're not meant to accept many things. But I don't really know what's the word sociopath mean? And what about them anyway? And then the other question would be, why should we accept them? I mean, if you say it's hard to accept them, it sounds like it would be a good thing to accept something that seems hard to accept. If we should not accept them, then what to do with them? First of all, I don't know what sociopaths are. I don't understand what it means. And there's no question about should or shouldn't. And there's no generalized prescription that's possible for all of humans. I'm talking about individually. You find it hard to accept a sociopath. Maybe the thing is not to accept the sociopath, whatever that means. And then what's the question? What should we do with them? Like, is it your job to do something with sociopaths? I don't understand. What should we do about, like, what do you do about the homeless person on the street? Do you do something about them? I get your point, but on the other hand, there is that saying, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Yeah, okay, well, sayings are mostly the purview of the ego because they fix things. And we give these sayings around and we don't know even what we're talking about because we've lost the whole context for it. So sayings, throw them out the window. I don't know if you were, I think you were there earlier. I was saying that if you have, as an example, a leader in a country is a reflection of what people are willing and aren't willing to accept. That's it. Yeah. So some draconian, totalitarian, whatever kind of leader comes into government, it's a direct reflection of what the people are willing or not willing to accept. If the people's will is weak, that's the kind of person that's going to come in by default. If the people's will is strong, that person has zero chance whatsoever. Again, if you want me to say something about sociopaths, you have to tell me what it means. I don't know what it means. So I don't understand how this quote would be related to it. Hey, Jennifer, how can we do unconditioning? See, first of all, that life does it by itself. So, yeah, whenever we bang our head against the wall about something, or many times some adversity will sort of shock us out of certain conditioning. Yeah. And it's not then, okay, no, I would say shock us out of ego. It's not really about unconditioning. There is no need to undo conditioning. The whole key is to see that the conditioning isn't you. The whole key is to see the kind of the difference between what in your own psyche, your psyche would be the sense of yourself. Yeah, the totality of it. So naturally, that would be a natural sense of uniqueness, of joy, of relaxation, of contentment. Yeah. So whatever self-images we have of ourselves, the key about all of this stuff is to see that this conditioning and these our reactions to the conditioning, they're not actually us. If someone's been educated and bullied by parents into becoming, I don't know, whatever, a doctor, for example, yeah, and has never plucked up the courage to say, no, I'm going to do what I want. I don't care what you say or what you do. Yeah, but no, they've decided, okay, I'm going to go along with it because it's loving towards my parents, or shouldn't say no to them, or I'm scared or whatever. Yeah. So to see in this example, to see that what I am is not a doctor. Even if I do the work of being a doctor because I'm passionate about it, I really want to do it. Still, I am not a doctor. That's just pride to say, oh, this is what I am. That's not who I am. That's the work I do. It's the job I do. Yeah. So in this case, you could say the conditioning is the doctor. See that you're not the doctor. This image, the doctor. You get the point? So that is really when we see that we're not the conditioning, then it's like it can never enter. Is it easy to see that? It's neither easy nor difficult. It's easy. Why not? Yes. Just now, the example I gave you about the doctor, did you find that difficult to see? Or easy? I don't know. You just saw it, right? It made sense. Then that's the level of difficulty. But we've got to want to live free. Really, that's without that, it's really got to be a bit of a burning desire, to fulfill our life. Like, what the hell else are we doing? So anyone who's watching videos about non-duality, and a good, maybe the biggest proportion of people will just be looking because they want some glow, because there's some feeling of insufficiency, uh, whatever, some discontent and something. And I know I want something. I want some glow. I want to have something that will make me special. And then they think, oh yes, I am searching for enlightenment. That's my search. But you've got to really want to live freely, like truly. That doesn't have any glow. It doesn't have any specialness. It doesn't have any it doesn't have anything more than the being able to enjoy our life and fulfill our life. You've got to really want that. And if you really want that, then all the hows are going to show it themselves bit by bit. It's not going to be some view that's like, now I've got a big view over my life. I know everything's going to happen, not going to happen. No, it's a bit like having a torch and you're walking somewhere where it's a bit dark. And then you just see, like, this isn't a metaphor about dark or light or anything like that. It's just the scope is you see what's in the field of vision of your torch. It's kind of like what's right in front of you to deal with. So in the day-to-day, everything comes up that's necessary to free ourselves from, and anything will be mirrored back to us. Anything that's like dead weight or giving us trouble. It doesn't work any particular way practically, Jennifer. I wonder practically how it works. It doesn't work any particular way. It's life. It's love. Can you say, how does life work? How does love work? No. How does energy work? Even the question doesn't really make sense. In the day, as I say, in the day-to-day, everything that comes up, conflict, strife, anything that, like maybe there's something in front of us, like, I don't know, as a teenager or finishing school, now it's my choice. My parents are telling me do this, but I want to do that. So that's the stuff that comes up, right? And then if I feel, all I got to do is find out how do I really feel. If I then, out of fear, don't follow it, then I've made my decision. If I'm in a situation where I can't force myself to leave a situation, for example, still the holding on to how I really feel tightly is going to resolve that situation. It might take a while, but it will resolve the situation ultimately. But if I decide, this is how I feel, but I can't, that's just dreaming, that's unrealistic, that's never going to happen, I'm going to put that aside, it's not practical, whatever. Then we make our decision. Then we're going to just live some kind of like surface, like superficial, empty form,